San Diegans sharing what they're hopeful for heading into the new year. People here are resilient, and that's a good word to describe the San Diego Zoo's dogged determination to save the northern white rhino from extinction. ABC 10 News reporter Jeff Lasky has been tracking the project for 5 years now. He caught up with the scientists to find out why their progress has them hopeful for the future.
Back in 2015, I was one of the last reporters who got to go into the safari park to visit with Nola, the northern white rhino, before she died. Now there are only 2 left on the planet, but there's lots of hope that they won't be the last.
If you think about it one way, hope is everywhere you look at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, and no creatures embody that hope more than these 2 young rhinos.
These 2, Edward and Future, are so healthy, so happy, so well adjusted. And I think, I don't have children of my own, but I think it must be the same kind of, or on some scale, the same kind of pride that you feel in your own children.
Dr. Barbara Durant feels parental toward Edward and Future because she helped bring them into the world. It was her work and her team that artificially inseminated the mothers. It's part of a plan that sounds straight out of science fiction, an effort to save these rhinos' genetic cousins. These are southern white rhinos. The idea is to use in vitro fertilization to make a northern white embryo, then artificial insemination to turn these southern whites into surrogate mothers to deliver northern white calves. So far, Dr. Durant has been testing her work just with the southern whites, so the fact that the babies are now a year old makes them more than just rhinos. They're a proof of concept.
It's the only thing that keeps me going, thinking that this is possible and that we can save a species and that I might be able to contribute to it in some small way.
Much of the focus for the last year has moved into Dr. Marisa Kuroti's lab at the safari park. She's using critical new Nobel Prize-winning scientific technology.
It's only been around for about 14 years and it's the fastest growing field out there.
Here's the simple version. Scientists can now take skin cells from a body and turn them into stem cells. Once they're stem cells, they can theoretically be turned into any other kind of cell. In humans, that could help in treatment and cure of diseases like Parkinson's. For the rhinos, Dr. Kuroti hopes to turn those stem cells into genetically pure northern white sperm and eggs. The team could then use those to create an embryo, which would be artificially inseminated into the surrogate mothers. The stem cells are critical because they can be cloned, meaning there would be a renewable supply. After all, there's a limited supply of the original samples in the safari park's frozen zoo. And since our last story on the Rhino Project, Dr. Kuroti's team has made a breakthrough.
We basically jumped up and down in the lab. That was probably one of the most exciting days we've had.
What you're seeing are heart cells, and the cells are alive. They're beating right there in a petri dish under a microscope.
I think we were pulling people in from the hallway to be like, come look and see what we did.
It's a major success because the heart cells came from stem cells that were made from skin cells from Angelifu, a male northern white that died at the safari park way back in 2014.
It's mind-boggling every time I see it, and I've seen it dozens of times, and it's just amazing to me that we are actually, in a sense, bringing Angelifu back to life.
Look, the scientists are going to need to be resilient because they still have years of work ahead before we ever see a baby northern white rhino. But everywhere those scientists look, there is hope. After all, it's running around right before all our eyes. Jeff Lasky, ABC 10 News.
Remarkable. When we first started covering this project 5 years ago, Dr. Durant estimated it would take 10 years of work before a calf would be born, and she thinks they're still right on track. If you have a story that's positively San Diego, email us at tips@10news.com.